Welcome to week 4 of the Anti-Black Artist Club. My name is Lola Saloba, and we are going to be diving into this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. If you have not read the book, do not worry. I actually read the chapter or the things in the chapter that I feel are relevant to the conversation. And then we have intentional chit-chat about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. This week is all about integrity. So I'm going to give people some time to hop on. So if you're watching the replay and this is not edited, use your time to go ahead and grab some water, okay, and something to write with or to record information with while I give people some time to hop on. We'll probably start in like a few minutes, okay? Let me actually write a little welcome message. Give it like 2 more minutes. Hi, Sia. I've been playing D'Angelo for almost like weeks straight now. This is where I'm at in my life. I did a little break for Leon Thomas's new project that just came out, folks. But I'm back. I'm back. Okay. What is this? Hi. I'm giving some time for people to hop on, maybe like 2 more minutes, and then like we'll just jump to the conversation. They can like jump in when they can. But this last week, week 3, first off, it was so hard for me to really like post about it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not wanting to post about this. And it's so funny because the clips that I got from Substack on the live, I'm like, these are good. This is like not the juicy part of the live. So I think maybe it was like the quality of the content and knowing I wouldn't have the time to like really go through and pick out the pieces that I really wanted. So it was fine. But it really was a lot. And I struggled with my morning pages this week too. I think I missed like 2 days. But the part about it is when I do miss a day, the next day I end up writing like double the amount that I normally write. So I feel like it makes up for itself energetically, but I do try to like keep up with it every day because I can tell when I do not write. Like when I'm not doing morning pages, it's very scary. Like mentally, I'm just like, oh, I am not in the mood for anyone, like at all. I'm not willing to be like accommodating or flexible. So writing really helps me a lot in the mornings for sure, for everybody's sake. I guess how up your love, I don't know how to be there. Okay. 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 All right. Yeah, you did? Yeah. I was just like, this is not cute, you know? Like, it's not cute at all. However, that irritability, right? That I guess like irritability would be a little under anger. If I'm looking at it on a scale of emotion, it's like rubbing against anger. It was necessary for me to be like, okay, girl, like, do we need to like redo your morning routine? Does that feel good? And it's so funny because when I started questioning what I needed, pretty much in everything that I did, I found like answers. So when I was thinking about revamping my morning routine, hi Jack, I'm hopping on TikTok and all of a sudden this girl's like, I just redid my morning routine. I wanted to romanticize it for the fall. This is what I did. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I like these things. I can actually incorporate some of this there. And it's funny how when you put the question out there to the world, the universe will find ways to answer it for you. Like give you some inspiration. Like, do you like this? Do you like that? Do you like this? And I think a lot of times, if we aren't aware that we're in constant conversation with our ancestors, with the universe, with God, whoever you call on to, you get irritated, like, oh, why does this person have what I want? You know what I mean? Or like, you don't realize, it's like, I'm presenting this to you to see if you like it. So I had moments where I was like, oh, okay, you're giving me options. All right, I think this is cute. We could do this. This is cute. And I've still been doing my editing. So like every day at the end of the day, I edit. I'm like, here's what I loved about today. Cute. Let's keep it. Let's add on. And then here's what I did not like. Let's not do this again. Was not a fan. 0 stars. And I do this before I go to sleep every night. Like I'll get in my bed all cozy. And I'm like, let's go over the day. I love this, love this, love this. This, I don't ever want to go through that again. No, thank you. And I love the editing process because I feel like it's like my morning pages at night where I'm able to like reflect and be like, okay, like let's move forward in this frequency. When I wake up tomorrow, we're in this timeline where these edits have been made. And I personally have found that when the edits are clear and when I'm passionate about those edits, I don't experience them again. And I love that for me. Alexa, 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 Alexa. You know what I gotta go through? This is so sad. To live in communion with AI is like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Hi, Jack. Yes. I know. I'm so excited. My birthday's on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to it. I know. I'm so excited. I'm going to do a day trip to New York City for my birthday. This is like my birthplace. I'm turning 35. Let me like go home for the day. I just plan to be amongst beauty, like in beautiful spaces, eating beautiful things, with beautiful people. Like that is the goal for the day. A nice little getaway and kind of doing little things that I don't really get to do in New York City because usually I'm back for something, like for a purpose. So it's nice to go back and just explore for the day. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. When D'Angelo's on, I actually can't get Alexa's attention. I'm just like, girl, I'm trying to teach. But I guess you vibing means more. And I guess that's fine. Because I do love D'Angelo's. I get it. All right. So I'm going to pull up. Well, actually, I'm going to start reading for week 4. And then if people join on, we'll just like jump into the conversation. It was actually a pretty short week of content. I was pretty surprised. We only have like one like smaller theme. So that's dope. That works. Was very happy about that. So I'm going to start. Week 4. This week may find you grappling with changing self-definition. The essays, tasks, and exercises are designed to capitulate you into productive introspection and integration of a new self-awareness. This may be both very difficult and extremely exciting for you. Warning, do not skip the tool of reading deprivation. Normally, I don't go over the bigger exercises here. I usually put that in for like the reading part of the notes. But for this week, I am going to go over reading deprivation because it is really important and really life-changing. As someone who's an avid reader and has recently, within the last year, really gotten back into reading, I really appreciated having week 4 to do that. And I extended it to social media. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I actually really love black and white together. This is probably my favorite combination in general. So I'm just like, let me do it up. Where's my pen? 'Cause I want to make a quick little note. Okay, let's do it. Recovering a sense of integrity. Honest changes. Working with the morning pages, we begin to sort through the differences between our real feelings, which are often secret, and our official feelings, those on public record. Official feelings are often indicated by the phrase, I feel okay about that. Enter job, loss, hating, or dating someone else, your father's health, etc. What do you mean by I feel okay? The morning pages force us to get specific. Do I feel okay? Does I feel okay mean I feel resigned, accepting, comfortable, detached, numb, tolerant, pleased, or satisfied? What does that actually mean for you? Okay is a blanket word for most of us. It covers all sorts of squirmy feelings, and it frequently signals a loss. We officially feel okay, but do we actually feel okay? Right? Like, do you really feel okay? At the root of a successful creative recovery is a commitment to puncture our denial, to stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. The morning pages press us to answer what else. In my years of watching people work with the morning pages, I have noticed that many tend to neglect or abandon the pages whenever an unpleasant piece of clarity is about to emerge. If we are, for example, very, very, very angry, but not admitting it, then we'll be tempted to say we feel okay about that. The morning pages will not allow us to get away with this invasion, so we tend to avoid them. If we have the creeping feeling that our lover is not being totally honest with us, the morning pages are liable to bring this creepy possibility up. And with it, the responsibility for an unsettling conversation. Rather than face the mess, we will mess up on doing our morning pages. By contrast, if we are suddenly and madly in love and the morning pages may seem threatening. We don't want to puncture the fragile and shiny bubble of our happiness. We want to stay lost at sea in a blissful memory rather than us being reminded that there is an I in the we, or an I like EYI in the we, that is temporarily blinded. In short, extreme emotions of any kind, the very thing that morning pages are superb for processing, are the usual triggers for avoiding the pages themselves. Just as an athlete accustomed to running becomes irritable when he is unable to get his miles in, so too those of us that are now accustomed to morning pages will notice an irritability when we let them slide. I was just talking to Sia about this, like literally telling her like I was a little irritable this week when I skip my morning pages. We are tempted always to reverse cause and effect. I was too crabby to write them instead of I didn't want to write them, so I'm crabby. Over any considerable period of time, the morning pages perform a spiritual chiropractic. They realign our values. If we are to the left or to the right of our personal truth, the pages will point out where we need a course adjustment. We will become aware of our drift and correct it, if only to hush the pages up. To thine own self be true, the pages say, while busily pointing that self out. It was in the pages that Mickey, a painter, first learned she wanted to write comedy. No wonder all her friends were writers, so was she. And it's advised that if you want to work on your art, work on your life. I love that saying. Hi, Ree. Hello. That's another way of saying that in order to have self expression, we must first have a self to express. T. Oh, that's so good. This is the business of morning pages. I myself feel this way, and this way. And no one else need agree with me. But this is what I feel. So I'm going to pause right here for a second to really just talk about why morning pages are so important. And honestly, I'm just going to broaden it to just documentation. However you choose to document your life. Morning pages is the ideal thing to do if you're on this journey with us because this is what um which is like a foundational practice. And I think it's a great way, like journaling in general is just great for you to do. But if you're documenting yourself through video or audio, it's important to do that, to document yourself, to give yourself a safe space to talk your shit, to see how you actually feel. Because a lot of times we will suppress how we really feel to be liked, right? To be likable, to make sure that other people don't leave or abandon us or touch on some wound that we may be aware of or not be aware of. And that's really important to remember. And that irritability, baby, when I don't write my morning pages, I'm a different person. I'm just like, I'm very, I have a shorter temper and a lower tolerance for everyone. Like, it does not matter who. And I find that I don't regret a lot in life, but me not taking time to take care of myself is always something that will come up as a regret. And morning pages has become this form of self care for me where I give myself the chance to write out any worries, any doubts, any desires, any ideas that I may have, any insights, any dreams that I may have gotten when I was asleep. I give myself the space and time to write it out. And I always, always appreciate doing it, especially when we get to the part of the book where we get to review our morning pages. I can't tell you how much content, how much curriculum, how many short stories and essays and books are in these journals. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, fully fleshed stories sometimes of me just writing. And I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And that also helps me to stay in alignment with a core belief of mine, which is that I am not competitive, I'm a creator. And things like that help me to stay like that. Because competing to me is like we're all competing for like this little piece of something, right? Or like this title, whatever the case is. And I've never been competitive. Even as a child, I just would root for everybody. Like if I lost, I'm like, oh no, I lost. Like you did great. I love this for you. I've always been like that. As I've gotten older, you're kind of taught as an overachiever to be competitive so you can be number one. If you're not number one, then you've lost, right? And that can be a lot for a person in general, child, adult. As I got older, I'm like, I feel like I'm always forced to be competitive, and I'm not a competitive person. What are the other options? Because I also don't consider myself to be a loser either. So it's just like, I feel like I always win, whether it's like I'm learning a lesson, right? Or I win said title or whatever. It's like, I don't care that much. Um, and just thinking about the fact that I have like all these trophies in my mom's house that like are collecting dust. I won trophies and awards for my mother. It wasn't for me. I'm just like, this lady needs to know that she did her best and that her child is not like this like horrible human being. She did well. So I did the trophies and things like that for her, but they never meant anything to me personally because it never was associated with my sense of worth because I always felt like I could create more. And once I understood that term of being a creator, it changed everything for me. I don't have that sense of desperation or jealousy if people have an experience that I desire, or if someone comes out with something that feels very similar to me. I'm just like, I love that for them. That's not really my business, you know? Even if I feel like, or I know that, okay, you directly were inspired from me and you're taking actual content word for word from me, I hate that you don't value your own creativity enough to actually apply it and let it be something that the world needs because what you're giving is second rate and it will eventually turn on you because my art is for me and my energy is for me. It gets really weird if you start siphoning people's energy without their permission and they're aware of it and they're really tapped and tuned in. You got a whole different experience than you're siphoning someone who's unaware, right? So I say all that to say, when I go to my morning pages, I remember that I'm a creator. I remember that I have these big feelings and these small feelings, and that I'm really intuitive and very insightful, and that I'm very wise. There's proof. Like I have written proof about how I view life. And because I can go through my journals and reread them, because I have them with me, because I'm writing daily, I really trust in my ability to show up and be a creator. I don't really enter in conversations where, you know, someone might feel like they're an imposter. I don't understand. Like I'm literally only being Lotus. Like I can only be me, so I'm not an imposter. You know what I mean? These things help to solidify that understanding, that sense of confidence in yourself and what you bring to the table. And we need more spaces like that. And I feel like as creatives, if we are not giving ourselves those spaces, we are setting ourselves up to fail, really and truly. So I really love that she brings this into space. And again, that where's that line at? Where was the line at that I really loved, y'all? I just said that I love this line. Where is it? It was so good, and now I'm just like, ironically, I didn't highlight it. I'm sure when I go over it again and give you guys the written notes, it'll come back up, and I will put it in bold letters, so it'll be fine. But yeah, being honest with yourself starts on the page because if you can't be honest with yourself, how are you going to create art? And what would you be creating if you're not honest with yourself? Right? Okay. Hello, hi Sierra. Hello. I did find myself trying to hush the pages up. Right, because you're writing things out and you're like, "Oh, wait a minute. did you just and mind you, you're writing it. Sometimes when I'm writing, I get into a state of flow where I'm just writing, 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 writing. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I reread it. I'm like, oh, I was channeling. And I actually, this actually makes me a little uncomfortable because I don't really want to do this. Now I'm aware of it. Now I know I'm aware of it. Like the subconscious has made it conscious for me. And now I'm like, I really can't duck and dive it no more. I'm going to have to like show up. And sometimes I'm excited for that. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I feel that so much. In order to have self-expression, we must first have a self to express. That's the saying. See, this is why I love y'all. Thank you, Jack. 'Cause it's not, it disappeared in my book. So, yes, that is what I was looking for. In order to have self expression, we must first have a self to express. What a powerful statement. Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like I'm going to end up getting into a whole nother conversation. I'm really just trying to be good on time. But imagine how healing that is to have a self to express. That cuts through all that bullshit. That imposter syndrome becomes irrelevant because you have a sense of self and you know who you are. So you know that you're not an imposter, right? Because you know who you are and you're able to express your art. You're able to express your purpose. Like, that's that missing key to imposter syndrome. You don't know yourself enough to express it. So you're grappling, trying to hold on to other things that kind of feel right, that are probably being placed into your life so that you can identify what it is that you actually want. But because we're not always tuned in, we think we have to copy someone else, right? Or we feel threatened by how somebody's expressing themselves. And it's just like, girl, I'm just giving you options, babes. Like, this is within you, you know? There was a time when I went to the concert in September. I went to Duckworth's concert, and as he was on stage singing, doing his thing, I had this deep yearning. I'm talking about like I felt like something was pulling me to the stage. And I was telling my girlfriend, who is like, she's an astrologist and like she's really into it. I'm not gonna say she's an astrologer, but like she's an enthusiast of astrology. Let's say that. And I'm telling her, I'm like, girl, like I really want to be on stage. Like it was this crazy yearning feeling. Like I thought I was being yanked there. And she was breaking down my chart to me. She was like, well, in your past life, you were an entertainer. So that makes a lot of sense why you would want, why you have that longing, that yearning. And I love that I'm in a space now where I'm so open-minded and able to express myself, where I didn't get to a space of jealousy, of like, oh, like, why does he get to do it and I don't? Like, why is he on stage and I'm not on stage? And, oh, I'm going to be better than him as a singer. Like, that competitive, jealous energy did not come up. I was just aware of the fact that I have this longing. And then I was intuitive enough to know who to speak to about it to get clarity on what it was. And it's like, oh, yes, it's a past life thing. This makes actually a lot of sense. This explains why, in this current reality, I am the way I am with my singing, right? So it's like this whole thing. And to know yourself so intimately, it just changes how you show up in everything. How you show up to your art, how you show up to your relationships in life, to the professional work that you do. All of it is tied to, do you know yourself enough to be able to express it? And to express it and know that people may not like that expression. They might be like, what is this? Are you still going to express yourself? Or will you suppress yourself? Like, are you going to just keep it all in so that everyone likes this weird version of you that's not actually who you are at all? And then you continue to confuse yourself and think that you are an imposter and that you're not real or authentic when in fact you are. You know what I mean? Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yes, competitive. It's a scarcity cycle. For me, it is. I have had people explain to me why competitiveness is important, and I hear them. I hear them. I do. I just don't agree. I'm just like, I hear you and it feels valid. It feels like you really believe this and I love that for you. And I'm not going to undermine it by giving you my point of view. I just don't think that it's a necessity, especially for Black women. I think it brings out a part of us that's not healthy when we're competitive because we're not locked in on ourselves. I feel like being competitive means that we are focused on other people. We're centered on them. We're not self-centered, right? We're not focused in on us. Because if I'm focusing on me and I'm locked in and I'm in a race, right? For just like that metaphoric feeling, I'm in this race. If I start paying attention to the left and the right of me, doesn't that slow me down? Right? So I was like, I would want to be focused in on myself, which would negate me competing. I would just be focusing on completion. I would be focused on creation, you know? So I was like, I don't know. That's how I think about it. But I'm also not like an athlete. So maybe that may be why it doesn't really resonate with me like that. So I digress. Yes, always win, less than or a title. Yeah, I'm always winning. That like I can't even identify with the fact that like losing something, like the worst I might say is like I misplaced my keys. But like I lost something, I don't know. I have an aversion to that. I'm just like, no. Me losing, me feeling like a loser, I don't know if I've ever really felt like that. I'm sure, like, I'll read through my journals, but I don't think I've ever felt like, even in like breakups, like, I'm just like, to feel like I've lost? I guess maybe if I'm thinking about loss in the sense of grief, with like losing loved ones that have passed. But that feeling of loss is, like, really short-lived because I also understand that they're still there. They're just in a different I access them differently than I would when they were alive. So it doesn't really feel like a loss. Honestly, it ends up feeling like a gain. Like I have another angel, you know what I mean? Someone that's not, confounded by their physical body anymore. So they're about to really turn up for me. That's really how I see it. Once I get past the initial human response of someone dying, right? I never feel like, yeah, I've never felt like it's a loss. I don't know. I don't identify with that. I identify as a winner, always. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes, acting from others eventually is self-defeating. It is. Because you could be doing this for yourself. You could be pulling from your own well of creativity. Why are you pulling from somebody else's well of creativity? For what? First off, that doesn't belong to you. That's number one. Number two, it does not belong to you. Therefore, you don't have the skill set or tools to properly express it. So, what are you really doing with it? And number three, why don't you trust what you're creating enough to express it, to share that? Why would you want to get a second rate version of someone else's energy when you have premium energy right here? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Hello, hello, hello. If not honest with yourself, yep. What are you creating? What are you creating? Agreed. Yes, yes. Having a sense of self is the answer to imposter syndrome. It is. Yes. Yeah, so had you by the Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was very like, I want to be on stage. And it was a very weird feeling because at first I'm like, what happened to the music? I'm like, oh wait, no, no, I'm why am I trying to get on what? Luckily I'm aware enough. Can you imagine kind of like blacking out from the desire? And then you're on stage, everyone's like, how'd you get up there? You're like, I don't know. I'm so happy that that wasn't the experience. I mean, is it good for like the plot, a cute little side quest? Maybe. But I'm very happy I was aware enough to be like, let's talk to court about this later. And how do we become present again to enjoy the moment? Otherwise, you're gonna get like sucked up in this desire and you've just been made aware of it. Let's store it to the side and enjoy the rest of the night. And I'm happy I did because it was so inspirational for me. It actually helped me to create so much just from that one artist date of going to the concert and being able to reflect on my past and my future and really enjoy the present. It was a really beautiful moment once I was able to redirect myself. Yes, yep, I agree. Love what you said on Black women locked in on self. Yes, 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 as an athlete. Oh, yes, okay, an athlete, finally. Please talk to me. Cause I just be like, I'm not an athlete, so I think it's a different mentality. Okay, as an athlete for most of my life, I was also taught this about healthy competition. I reframed this though, in that I am really only in competition with myself or past versions of myself, not anyone or anything outside of me. I love that. I actually had a girlfriend who told me the same thing too. And when I thought about it for myself, again, because I'm really so far removed from being competitive, like I'm the person that would probably make a sore winner or a sore loser. Because some people are upset when they win too. Because like, I only won by 2 points. It's like, okay, but you won though. Like, I don't understand why you're so upset. Like you have those two type of people. I would make them, like, even more irritable, because 'cause I'd be like, "Oh my god, you killed it, you were amazing!" And, like, I'm so excited because I genuinely am like, "This is so dope how you were able to make this happen and complete this," and they'll just be taken aback from it or, like, annoyed by me or think that I'm doing it to, like, I guess, like, be petty, and I genuinely do be excited for people when they win. Like, I'm just like I don't know, I just think that's so cool, like, I love that for you, and because of that I feel if I'm applying that to myself, right? These past versions of myself, I wouldn't compete with them. I wouldn't know how to. Because for me, competing means that somebody's an opponent. And I like to look at my past versions of myself as like we're on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like I could not be here without Lotus at 34. Oh, that's me now. Wait. Lotus at 33, at 32, at 20, 22, at 17. Those versions of me. Well, first and foremost, way more gully, way more gangster than I am right now. I mean, it's still within me, but them girls was about that business, okay? I have a lot of admiration for my past versions of myself, especially when I was younger and I didn't have the tools that I have right now, or the awareness or like the education. And I was still getting through these things and still coming out being a decent person, still being forgiving, still being loved. Like I really be in awe. Like, wow. So I think I'm too much in awe of my older versions to compete with them. To be like, I gotta be better than you. I don't think I can be better than the older versions of me because I think that that was the best that I could do in that iteration of myself. Like I'm just thinking out loud. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I also have this really firm belief that anything that is of me is inherently good. And these two things connect because when you're taught things in wellness, you're taught like first and foremost, like the evil is the evil. The ego is evil, right? It's this terrible thing that's gonna fuck up your life. Your emotions are terrible things that are gonna fuck up your life. And I feel like that is very whitewashed, very colonized mentality, right? Very conquer something, right? It's like I gotta conquer something to feel satisfied in life. That's not a necessity. That's not, you don't need to conquer anything. You could just be. And that in itself is so expansive and so everlasting. You would be satiated, right? So when we have that understanding, it changes everything. It changes how you see and commune with your past selves and with other people that might be in the same field as you. A lot of my girlfriends are in the same field as me. They're in the spiritual wellness sector, right? Or some type of like beauty influence. We're in a very similar group. And I just see that as an opportunity to gain more experience, you know what I mean? And to be amongst peers. And I also have that same understanding for older versions. Like those are my peers. Maybe those are my mentors. I don't know. I hope that that makes sense because I get that, and I think that there's a mindset for it, especially when it comes to being an athlete. You just need to turn on a different part of the self. I've never been an athlete, so I don't think that part has ever been turned on. Let's see. What about when I'm running for college class president? Yeah, even when I was running for president, I was just like, this is who I am. Either y'all gonna like me or y'all not gonna like me. These are the policies that I want to bring into play. I think that we deserve these things. Do y'all trust that I can get them done? If y'all do, then vote for me. If you don't trust I can get them done, I hope that these are important enough for you to then find a candidate that will get them done for you. Like I didn't really care if I think if I did care to win, it was because I really wanted to make those policies happen. I really wanted to make sure I was helping the community and making people aware of what they were missing in that environment. That's where my passion was. So when I won, I actually was like really depressed. It was a whole thing. It was like, oh, it was a lot energetically. But in the running part, there was no competitiveness. It wasn't like I gotta beat these two candidates. And I was going against grown ass men at 19. These were these were grown men who were not happy that a teenage girl was trying to run for president. They were pissed. They were not happy at all. They were like really unkind about it. Um, but like I was really focused on the goal. And the goal was to make sure that people were aware of what was happening in the school that I was in, and that they had the proper tools to show up for themselves. They just happened to trust me enough to fulfill those policies, and I did. So yeah, even with that, I wasn't competitive. My manager at the time was my fiance. He I guess maybe he was competitive. I don't know. I don't think he was either. Like, I just have never been competitive. I don't know. And it's so funny because my niece is very competitive. And I'm always just like, I'm like, why? She's like, I gotta win. Since she was like a little girl, I'm like, girl, we're just playing like Candyland. Like, it's really not that deep. Like, why? This is very intense. You know, like when she would win, she'd be like, ah! And I'm just like, like, I'm so happy you won. I don't know. That's a part of me where I feel my brain disassociates for real. I'm just like, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Sierra, love that reflection on competition. Yes, I do too, Sierra. What sports? I can come clean now. Yeah, no, I don't. The only sport that I did play was fencing, and I did track, and I hated track. That was a dark time in my life. And I did fencing, and I enjoyed fencing. But fencing is not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not one of those big sports, like the volleyballs or like the baseball, the basketball, the football, like those are like when people think athletes, they think, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think fencing. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, I can come in last in the competition and still be happy with my performance and how it made me feel. Yeah. I'm just like, okay, girl, let's complete something. I'm always like, did I complete? Now, that will be one thing that does get me. If I don't complete something, if I don't finish it, then I'm very like, girl, what's going on? Let's readjust. Let's reevaluate. But yeah, like what place I come in, it's like it's a number. I don't know. This doesn't matter to me. Um, Here's the next one. Yes, Derek is a distant cousin of mine. Oh my God, Sarah! Girl, you come from yes! Good stock, baby. I don't swim at that level anymore though. That's wow. Wow. Yes. All this progress and winning is worth celebrating no matter how big or small. Agreed, agreed, agreed. See, it's so good. I definitely feel that energy on you, in touch with you. Yes. That's amazing. Ugh. Ugh. I heard your opponent is still trying to overturn the class president election. Honestly, they might be. And I would hate that for them because life has gone on. This is Candy Lamb. No, she's not. She's very, very competitive about games. Yeah. She is someone where I'm like, when she really gets into sports, maybe it'll come out then. Maybe I'll like get into auntie mode because I'm a very proud woman. So maybe that's where it'll come into play. Yeah. Hello, if I know you for 100 years or so. Yeah, I love fencing. I love that. I'm thinking about trying to get back into it now, but I have to find a fencing club that feels good. But yeah, all right. Let's get back into it. All right. The process of identifying a self inevitably involves a loss as well as a gain. We discover our boundaries, and those boundaries are by definition separate from us. Well, this is such a weird sentence. We discover our boundaries, and those boundaries by definition separate us from our fellows. Okay. As we clarify our perceptions, we lose our misconceptions. As we eliminate ambiguity, I can't say the word, guys. Ambiguity. As we eliminate ambiguity, we lose illusion as well. We arrive at clarity, and clarity creates change. I have outgrown this job may appear in the morning pages. At first, it's a troubling perception. Over time, it becomes a call for action and then an action plan. This marriage is not working for me. The morning pages say. And then I wonder about couples therapy. And then I wonder if I'm not just bored with me, right? You start to unravel. In addition to posing problems, the pages may also pose solutions. I am bored with me. It would be fun to learn French. Or I noticed a sign just down the block for a clay and fiber class that sounds interesting. As we notice which friends bore us, which situations leave us stifled, we are often rocked by waves of sorrow. We may want our illusions back. We want to pretend the friendship works. We don't want the trauma of searching for another job, especially in this economy. Faced with impending change we have set in motion through our own hand, we want to mutiny, curl up in a ball, bawl our eyes out. No pain, no gain. The nasty slogan has it. And we resent this pain no matter what gain it brings us. I feel like, and I want you guys to like chime in and let me know. The things that I've had to release or let go of, I don't necessarily have resentment in having to do it. I think maybe at some point in time in the process of having to let it go, it was annoying for me. Of like, I gotta take my time and energy out to like let this person go or, transition from this environment because it's unsafe for me now. That was like annoying. Maybe even maybe that was even anger of more of how did I get in a situation? How did I allow myself to be in this dynamic for this long? To where now the transition it feels so intense and so severe, right? That it feels like I'm really noticing the separation. But I don't think I resent it. Especially because what I become aware of what I've gained, it's so bountiful compared to what I had. I don't know if that's an experience you guys had too. Like the thing I think of the most, I feel like the things that I've hurt in transition the most have been like losing girlfriends or transitioning in friendships. Friendship breakups are really difficult. But even in that, I don't know if I felt resentment. It's like, they were there for the season that they were in. And I am really grateful. Like all of my girlfriends that we are no longer close with anymore, I don't have any ill will towards them. It's not a performance either of like, I don't want them to see me sweating. Like I genuinely hope that they're doing well. They were good people to me up until the time that they weren't. And that just was what it was, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, I hope that they're doing well. I hope that they're doing good. I hope that whatever it was that we had our disconnect in, that they've have found a way to feel satiated and feel seen, and they've attracted other friends who can take care of them better than I was able to do. Because I know that I have found other girlfriends who take care of me better than they were able to do, and I'm really grateful for that. And if I know what I know now and I had the opportunity to go back and try to fix things, I wouldn't. I would let those friendships go because what I have now is so fulfilling to me. And I hope and pray that I'm able to keep these women in my life, and grow old with them. But even if I'm unable to do that, what I have right now is so good. It's providing so much for me that I feel like I'd only really be grateful for the time spent with them eventually. Hi, Ivan. How are you? No pain, no gain. It's still haunting me. I have to tell it to take a seat. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mine that I was taught was beauty is pain. I was taught that. Beauty is pain, baby. I learned that at a very young age, and it was a very interesting experience. Yeah, that's it. Being aware of what I've gained makes it all worth it. Yeah, yeah. When she said that, I was like, I don't know if I agree. Like, do I still resent it? Like, no. Once I realize what I've gained, I'm so much more focused on what I've gained. I could care less about what I lost. Right? I heard sports coaches, etc., was taught and forced to ignore myself. Yeah, because you need to be focused on the end goal, and the end goal is in that environment, that context is bigger than how you're feeling in the moment about the situation, you know? Like you have to use a different part of the mind in sports. Like it's a different part because it requires a different grit, a different animal from within you to like to get it done. And like again, for my athletes, let me know if I'm wrong, Sierra, but I feel like there's a different beast that you connect to. Like when I'm watching sports or like the people in my life who are athletes, when I see them in their mode, that's a different person. Like they are set on getting that goal by hella high water, you know? And you need to have mantras and beliefs and programming to help support you to get to that because most of the time it's arduous. Like it's not an easy task. It's not a reach out and you grab it. It's like you're gonna have to get through people to get to this thing, you know? You can't do that in you probably could do that in a different frame of mind, but I just feel like it would just be a lot more work. I don't know. Athletes fascinate me. I really do appreciate the way that they show up in the space. Like it's just I mean, they're artists. You know what I mean? Like the way that they show up, it's just there's just a different type of access to power. That I'm just like, damn, that's so fucking cool. Like I can't. I just wish I could do it. I don't know how. But I feel like athletes are just locked in. Yeah, it's just it's just a really cool thing to witness. Yes, yes, yes. Be on the field, take one for the team, afraid of letting everyone down. Yeah, 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 yeah. Play better, better play hurt. Yeah, right? These are all things that kind of deny you of yourself for the larger goal. I think it really locks into that saying of like you're not bigger than the program when it comes to um being a part of a team in a sports arena. Cause then that's when you get those selfish players, you know what I mean? The people like, "I'm the star, like, you're gonna pass me the." It's like, no, you can't be bigger than a team. You gotta know that you are a part of you're woven into this connection with other people who have gifts and talents that are gonna support each other to get to that end goal. And if you're not willing to literally, like, play ball, right? Right, really, you're gonna mess it up for the team and for yourself. You can't be locked in like that. You have to really readjust and remember, like, I have a role to play. You know? And that's gonna require things of me that might make me uncomfortable. But hopefully, consciously, I'm willingly accepting that that's the experience I'm gonna have, but that end goal of winning that title or, getting that trophy or, moving up in that tournament is going to satiate, the discomfort I had to endure to get there. Ideally. Let's see. Yes, playing a sport can be very spiritual. I could not agree more. And it does provide a framework for discipline. Yep. Towards working towards a goal slowly over time. Yes. And then achieving it. Yep. Which can be applied to other areas of life. That's how it helped me. Sarah, word for word. Yeah. And it has to be spiritual. Because how else do you get it done? I feel like that's really where you get to play between your divinity and your humanity. I don't know. I look at sports like it's also a form of art. That's art. And it's intuitive to be able to read someone else's body language. You know what I mean? To know which way to move. I just to work in union. It's really beautiful. Like, I'm not big on sports, but when I was in my last relationship, he was a diehard football fan. So I had to learn football very fast. And I was more fascinated by how beautiful the team moved as like one unit. I was always like, this is fucking cool. Like this is so cool. Like all to coordinate, to pass a ball, to get to a point using like your entire body, powering through. Like I was just it was very it was just like I was watching art in motion, you know? When I explained it to him like that, he was very much like, "Girl, you're ruining the vibes." But that's how I interpreted it. Like it's a very spiritual thing to connect, to be able to trust someone enough that they're going to be where they need to be so that you can pass something off to them to get to that like that how is that not spiritual? How is that not intuitive? That's love how you describing athletes. No, I really do have a fondness for athletes. I just think that I just wasn't blessed to be an athlete. That's it. My sisters are athletes. One sister's like a track star. The other one was in volleyball. My girlfriends are like, yeah, I'm probably the only person in my circle that was not an athlete. Yeah. I've never, yeah. I don't know. But I was a great manager. I was a football manager. I was a basketball manager. I did well there. I was very supportive of my team and very protective. I didn't play that. Like, don't. Don't get crazy about my people, though. Like, not too much, okay? Keep them hydrated, keep them well rested, keep them focused. I was good at that. So I was on the team. I was just the manager. I just never was athletic enough to be on a team. Let's see. I found it challenging to become my own coach when school sports ended. I think that also depends on the type of coach you had, right? Oh, I did gymnastics. Does that count? That's a sport. That's a sport, right? Yeah, that's a sport. I did gymnastics, and my gymnastics coach, Miss Hamilton, that's my girl. She was so fly, but she was no joke. That was actually a very terrifying woman. But her way of teaching us to trust our bodies and to contorting in ways that we didn't think were possible, I am still as agile and flexible as I was when I was in third grade, when I was doing my gymnastics from like second to sixth. Like, still very much. I remember I can hear her phrases, like everything, even to certain music we would practice to, they still bring fond memories to me. I do think that's on the coach, right? And if you have a really good coach, a coach that is helping you trust yourself more, when you're out of that environment with them, they kind of still are with you energetically and they help you to coach yourself. Now, I also feel like the same could be true if you did not have a really good coach, that they may be haunting you. And that can be very hard to figure out how to navigate and move forward with a sense of integrity for yourself so that you can express who you are, you know? Um, I hope you will consider writing on that. Yes, yeah, if you do, please tag me because I would love to read about that perspective. It is absolutely art. Yeah, some like a guy I can relate to. Yeah, yeah. He loves football. I hated track just because it was running. I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. Also, probably to a lot of pressure, you know? Like, it was just a lot. I was like, ugh. And I had to do cross country when I wasn't doing track, and I despised cross country. Running for long periods of time through the woods. It was not like now where I could put on headphones, listen to music. Like, I had a Walkman. You can't really run with a Walkman. Like, it's just there was no beauty in it. I didn't enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. Like, just thinking about it now, it's like, people who run for fun, I really just be like, "Y'all got it. Y'all got it." You have a level of commitment that I just will never aspire to because I just don't like running. I just don't like it. I just don't. I don't know, I have too many uncomfortable feelings tied to running. I just don't like it. Yeah, well, needs to write a book maintaining fourth grade flexibility. Yeah, right? Yes. Yeah, it was running. It was running. I just didn't like it. Oh, yeah. Here we go. I don't want to raise my consciousness, we wail. I want blah, blah, blah. And thanks to the morning pages, we learn what we want and ultimately we become willing to make the changes needed to get it, but not without a tantrum and not without a kriya, a Sanskrit word meaning a spiritual emergency or surrender. We all know what a kriya looks like. It is the bad case of the flu right after you've broken up with your lover. It's the rotten head cold and cough that announces you've abused your health to meet an unreachable work deadline. That asthma attack out of nowhere when you've just done a round of caretaking your alcoholic sibling. That's a kriya too. Always significant, frequently psychosomatic, kriyas are the final insult of our psyche and adds to our injuries. Get it? A kriya asks you. Do you get it that you can't stay with this abusive lover? Do you get it that you can't work at a job that demands 80 hours a week from you? Do you get that you can't rescue a brother who needs to save himself? In the 12-step groups, kriyas are often called surrenders. People are told to just let go, and they would if they knew what they were holding on to. With the morning pages in place and the artist dates in motion, the radio set stands half a chance of picking up the message you are sending out into and receiving. The pages round up the usual suspects, the mentions, the small hurts we prefer to ignore, the large successes we fail to acknowledge. In short, the morning pages point the way to reality. This is how you're feeling. What do you make of that? And what we make of that is often art. People frequently believe the creative life is grounded in fantasy. The more difficult truth is that creativity is grounded in reality, in the particular, the focus, the well observed, and specifically imagined. As we lose our vagueness about ourselves, our values, our life situation, we become available to the moment. It is there in the particular that we contact the creative self. Until we experience the freedom of solitude, we cannot continue authentically. We may be enmeshed, but we are not encountered. Art lies in the moment of the encountered when we meet our truth and we meet ourselves. We meet ourselves and we meet our self expression. We become original because we become something specific, an origin from which work flows. As we gain or regain our creative identity, we lose a false sense we were sustaining. The loss of this false sense can feel traumatic. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't recognize me. Remember that the more you feel yourself to be terra incognita, the more certain you can be that the recovery process is working. You are your own promised land, your own new frontier. Shifts in taste and perceptions frequently accompany shifts in identity. One of the clearest signals that something healthy is afoot is the impulse to weed out, sort through, or discard old clothes, papers, and belongings. I don't need this anymore, we say as we toss a low self worth shirt into a giveaway pile. I'm sick of this broken down dresser and its 16 coats of paint as the dresser goes off to Goodwill. By tossing out the old and unworkable, we make way for the new and suitable. A closet stuffed with radio clothes does not invite new ones. A house overflowing with odds and ends and tidbits you've held on to for some day has no space for the things that might truly enhance today. My notes are all over the place, so just give me time to look through them. When the search and discard impulse seizes you, two cross currents are at work. The old you is leaving and grieving, while the new you celebrates and grows strong. As with any rupture, there is both tension and relief. Long-seated depress, Long-seated depression breaks up like an ice flow. Long frozen feelings thaw, melt, cascade, flood, and overturn their container, which is you. You may find yourself feeling volatile and changeable, and you are. Let's pause here because there are a lot of like metaphors here. Essentially, when you start to witness yourself, there are going to be parts of you that you realize are no longer suitable for the journey ahead, and you're going to have to release them. And doing so, you're experiencing some form of grief. But at that same time, you are celebrating because, wow, I'm witnessing who I am right now very clearly. And that creates resistance and discomfort. This old version of me that I may have thought was truly who I was, I'm realizing is no longer who I am and has to leave, along with maybe the comforts that it had brought me, as well as the discomfort it's brought me. And then I realize who I am and I'm so freaking excited. But now I'm a little scared because I have to now go into a whole new realm of self with no real certainty on who I'm going to become when I get out of there. That's a lot to process, right? And you want to find a way to bring harmony to that. So it's important to use the morning pages or documentation to detox, to release, to let those things go. And then we use things like artist dates or submerging ourselves in beauty and pleasure to replenish, to say, hey, I know you lost this, but this is going to feel so much better. It reminds me of like that really famous painting. There's like iterations of it where like there's like a little kid and they have like this really old toy that they like love so much and it's so small. And then God, source, universe, whatever that ideology is that is facing them, because it's different for different cultures, has like this huge teddy bear behind them. And it's just asking for you to give up that small thing that is no longer of use to you so you can be provided with more. And a lot of us really struggle with doing that. It is so hard to let go of the things we have attached so many memories to, so many feelings to. But again, think about what we learned in week 3 of how emotions work, right? How feelings are supposed to work. They're not supposed to be attached to something forever. They're supposed to go to the body and give you information so you can move forward. So when you're having that resistance, remember that truth and be able to let it go. Because all of this cannot go with you when you transition. Your favorite, a tech toy or your favorite dress or item, like these things are going to come and go for various reasons. And you have to be able to hold on to the memory and have an appreciation for it and not suffocated to the point where you're now distracted on holding on and trying to find that feeling again where there are new feelings to be felt. And the best example I can give you is that after my breakup, I really am into like coffee mugs and like teacups. I have a lot of them. And I had one that was handcrafted for me. It was like engraved and everything. It was really beautiful. I loved it. It was my favorite thing to drink out of. When we broke up, I was like, I don't want to drink out of this anymore. But I was very torn due to the fact that I really did. It was art for me. I really loved this cup so much, y'all. Like I loved it so much. It actually was, I was very close to keeping it. If I didn't understand how energy works and how if you keep things from people who are no longer in your life, you just keep connected to them and it becomes an issue. If I wasn't aware of that, I would have kept that cup. That's how much I love that cup, right? Jewelry too, things that were just really sentimental. I'm like, I just want to keep them. And I had to have a real conversation with myself and be like, keeping this is also keeping the other memories that come with it. So yes, you have memories of making your matcha and being happy and cuddling up and, Sunday mornings, but you also have times where you are grabbing the cup because you're about to beat his ass, right? And you're trying to calm yourself down. All is attached to this one item. And you just let it all go. You don't need to hold on to those good memories either. They're not, all I need to know is that at one point in time I was loved and I'll be loved again. And I'm loved now, and call it a day. Like really get into the root of why you want that item in your life or that thing and then moving past it because it really is blocking your energetic flow. And I'm a big person on that. When my girlfriends transition out of relationships, the first thing I say is like, get rid of all their shit. The favorite sweaters. I know for my girls, like comfy sweaters. I feel like those be the hardest ones to let go of because there's just something about the fit. It just fits me perfectly. When I buy it myself, it doesn't make sense. When I steal a hoodie, it just makes sense. But letting those things go, packing them up, and you don't have to like throw them out the window and be dramatic. You can be, but you don't have to. Wrap them up lovingly and give them off to goodwill. Let somebody else make new memories from that. You don't need those memories anymore. You don't need that connection to that person anymore. And in doing so, is there a bit of like oh, I miss this thing? It is, but it's not for long. Because then you find there's new things that come right in that have been waiting. They've been waiting for you to make space. Blessings and miracles are waiting for you to make space so they can come and flood your life in the best way possible. Like let go of those old things. Have a tantrum, right? Have the kriya, have a tantrum, feel your feelings. Don't let it be too long though. Again, 90 seconds is preferable, but maybe 24. Give yourself a time limit to feel those feelings, to be upset, to be rageful, to go smash things if you need to in a safe, controlled environment. Do whatever you got to do. And then be willing to let it go because you trust and you know that when you let it go, better things are coming your way. And leave it at that. Okay? Mm, this is right on time. Yes, yes, yes. It's so hard to say goodbye yesterday. Yeah, it's like it actually really is not that hard to say goodbye. Bye yesterday. See you later, girl. That's it. It doesn't need to be as difficult. This is what I feel like when we don't properly express our art and our drama, it comes out in other ways. This is one of those ways. When we have like a very difficult breakup, I can pretty much bet you have not been utilizing your art. You'll come back to it because your art can help you heal. But when's the last time you took care of yourself? When's the last time you really focused in on you? When's the last time that you created something or you were immersed in beauty? It's probably been a very long time. And now you're having a tantrum because this thing that you've given all your attention and energy to is getting on your nerves so much to the point that you have to let them go. And you feel like, why? I could have been frolicking in beauty and I was pouring my love and energy into you. And now I can't even keep you because you can't come with me where we're going. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed about that. You're gonna be angry, right? It's a natural response. Have the tantrum, right? I'm not saying spiritually bypass this. Have a tantrum. Feel the way you feel, and then move forward. Like move forward. Taking a baby step at a time, but move forward. And I promise you, that there will be better things that come from it. The jewelry that I have now, I'm obsessed with. It replaces everything that I lost from those people. My teacup collection, top tier. And I got it for myself. So I'm just like, I don't have to worry about anything else. This is what we want to do when we're moving forward as artists. We want to know when it's time to pivot and to be at peace in the pivot, to not feel like it's going to shake up our entire life and who we're going to be. And oh my God, I'm going to spiral. No, I have to change these things because I am not satisfied right now. And me feeling satiated, me feeling complete and whole is more important. That is the program. This is getting in the way of me in the program. I can't have you be in my way. That's where that ruthlessness comes out that a lot of us uh, will disregard, usually due to niceness. But that sense of ruthlessness, of nothing is getting in the way of me feeling safe and satiated, that changes the game. Okay. Um, I have wanted to hold on to a family of origin I never really had, and those in spirit kept showing me, helping me let go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah. Waiting for you to make space. The vacuum will be filled. Yes, top tier teacup class. Yes, yes, yes. Amen to all of that. Yeah. Like it's gonna be more than okay. It's gonna be more than all right, right? It's going to be beautiful. Give it some time. Give it some time in the sense of not that time will make you forget everything, but that time will allow you to experience new things that will be fresher, that will be in more alignment with who you are now. So they will mean, or they will feel like they mean more. And you can be happy again. It'll be a different type of happy, but that's okay too. You know? All right. Let me know if anybody needs clarity on that. I'm going to keep reading and then I'll go back to the comments. Be prepared for bursts of tears and of laughter. A certain giddiness may accompany sudden stabs of loss. Think of yourself as an accident victim walking away from the crash. This is actually a very dramatic. This is very dramatic. And she says it too, but I just want to just give that trigger warning. Think of yourself as an accident victim walking away from the crash. Your old life has crashed and burned. Your new life isn't apparent yet. You may feel yourself to be temporarily without a vehicle. Just keep walking. If the description sounds dramatic, because it does, it is only to prepare you for your possible emotional pyrotechnics. You may not have them. Your changes may be more like cloud movements, from overcast to partly clouded. It is important to know that no matter which form your growth takes, there's another kind of change, slower and more subtle, accumulating daily, whether you sense its presence or not. Well, nothing dramatic is happening to me. I don't think the process is working. I have been told so often, and from my perspective, it's changing at the speed of light. The analogy that I use is that once we engage in the process of morning pages and artist dates, we begin to move at such velocity that we don't even realize the pace. Just as travelers on a jet are seldom aware of their speed unless they hit a patch of turbulence, so too, travelers on the artist's way are seldom aware of the speed of their growth. This is a form of denial that can be tempting to abort in the recovering process because we feel like it's not happening to or for us. When we have engaged with the creator within us to heal, many changes and shifts in our attitudes begin to occur. One second, there's a note here. I enumerate some of them here because many of these will not be recognizable at first healing. In fact, they may seem crazy and even destructive. At best, they may seem eccentric. There will be a change in energy patterns. Your dreams will become stronger and clearer, both by night and by day. You will find yourself remembering your nighttime dreams, and by day, daydreams will catch your attention. Fantasy of the benign and unexpected sort will begin to crop up. Many areas of your life that previously seemed to fit will stop fitting. Half of your wardrobe may start to look funny. You may decide to reupholster a couch or just toss it out. Musical bent may alter. There may even be bursts of spontaneous singing, dancing, and running. You may find your candor unsettling. I don't like that is a sentence that will leave your mouth. Or, I think that's great. In short, your taste and judgments and personal identity will begin to show through. What you have been doing is wiping the mirror. Each day's morning pages takes a swipe at the blur you've kept between you and your real self. As your image becomes clearer, it may surprise you. You may discover very particular likes and dislikes that you hadn't acknowledged. A fondness for cactuses, so why do I have pots of ivy? A dislike for brown, so why do I keep wearing that sweater if I never feel right in it? Conditioned as we are to accept other people's definitions of us, this emerging individuality can seem to us like self will run riot. It is not. All right, let's pause here and just talk about what that means. Okay. As we are on our artist journey and we are discovering who we truly are, what we will notice about ourselves is that there's a lot of us that feels different, a lot about us that feels different, that feels foreign, right? That feels unfamiliar. But it doesn't mean that it's not us. It just means it's a part of us we haven't really been intimate with. And we now have the opportunity to explore because we've made that space of letting go of the old things that we used to identify ourselves as. We let those things go. And now we are in a space where we can bring in that new and become familiar with it and see why this is a part of who we are. Right? Does that make sense for y'all? I know for me, when I realized that I was adventurous, it was like a shocker. I actually didn't have that understanding for a long time. It I had to reflect and realize that in my childhood, I wasn't given opportunities to be adventurous, right? So as I got older and I was presented in or placed in these environments where I was allowed to be adventurous, I found that I thoroughly enjoyed being adventurous. The first part of that was like going to amusement parks. You know, for the first few times, I would do like the smaller rides. So I'm like, there's no way I would ever get on this crazy tall ride. Like, this doesn't make, why would I do that? But I would have this longing to just try. And at one point in time, I did. And I'm like, I actually love roller coasters so much. Oh my, I love them. I love them so much. That is something that I would have never identified as. And when I thought about it, it's because my mother wasn't a roller coaster person. The people in my life didn't really like them. So I figured, like, if they don't like them, why would I like them? Right? We attach our identity to the conditions of other people around us. But once you separate that, it's like it's genuinely a whole new world. From there, I went freaking mountain climbing. I went to the Grand Canyon. And again, Grand Canyon, if you guys have been there before, there are no railings. It's very much, y'all see this as a big hole. Like, I would hate for you to fall into it, but like, one plus one equals two, right? The security guard is actually like, they're very lax there because they're like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just here for the paycheck. Like, this is word for word, right? So we're there and I'm like on the edge and I'm thinking, I should be afraid. Like, this jumping down from rock to rock, like, this is not like, why is this thrilling to me? I'm like, oh, I really am a thrill seeker. I love this. This is so much fun, right? Like, these are things that I enjoy. And because of how I identify, because of my culture too, like, these are things that we don't consider like Black things to do, right? Like, being this type of adventurous, like, ooh, that sounds a little crazy. We're debunking that, right? As we speak now, there's just so many Black people being present and aware of how diverse we are and what we experience in our culture. And it's all over social media now. So it's a beautiful thing. But prior to like the 90s, early 2000s, like, there was very much a thing that we all were like, we don't do these things, right? Like, this is just the box that we place ourselves in. But when you step out of that box, it is invigorating. It's surprising too. And people are not going to always believe that that is who you are. I remember going to a theme park my sister and I'm telling her, like, "Girl, I got some," and she's looking at me like, "Girl, you're like the most girliest person. You're such a calm like, I would never assume this." And when she saw me getting on roller coaster, she's like, "You really love this." I'm like, "Yes, I've been telling you this is who I am." Like, you didn't believe me. And it takes time, and that is symbolic of how other people may see you in your artistry and not believe that you are a painter or believe you are a writer because they just cannot fathom that because they know this old version of you. And that's okay too. Because those that love you and care about you, they'll adapt. They'll see it and be like, damn, girl, this is really what you're about. I love this for you and I'm on board. Or they're gonna be like, this is actually a lot and it goes against who I believe myself to be. And I'm not ready for you to be vastly different from me. So I'm going to either cause friction so that we break up, right? or I'm just gonna walk away because you're challenging my sense of belief now. Either one is a good option because you're either getting rid of the dead weight, or you're having somebody fortify their love for you and who it is you're evolving into. Does that make sense? Yes, yes, yes. Walking away from the crash. Yes. One of my friends, a black woman, hiked on the bottom of the Grand Canyon with her sister, and another friend stayed overnight there. She said, and she said this. Yeah, like, who knew? I love that. I love plot twists in life where I'm like, wow, I didn't know I was gonna love this. I love this. Right? Same thing when I forgot my first tattoo. I did it to be rebellious, you know? And then I'm like, "Oh, I actually really love this. Oh, this is an art form. Oh, this is incredible." And decades later, I'm still getting them because they mean so much to me. You only need like one experience to change so much in your life to help you reveal another part of your identity. It's not like you're taking on a new identity. You're just revealing parts of yourself that were hidden because the environment or the relationships in your life did not allow it to be seen. It was a bit of a distraction. You were focused over here. You didn't even realize what was going on right here and how this could benefit you in your life. And that's okay. Once you become aware of it, we just, you're a bit of a distraction. I want to figure out who I am over here and see what that's like and what that's about and what I can gain and experience from that. You know? Okay. I want to go to this part. If you look over time, you have been doing the morning writing, you will see that many changes have entered your life as a result of your willingness to clear room for it in your life. You have noticed an increase, sometimes disconcerting, sense of personal energy, some bursts of anger, some flashpoints of clarity. People and objects may have taken on a different meaning to you. There will be a sense of flow of life that you are brought into, new vistas as you surrender to moving with the flow of God. This is clear already. Excuse me. You may well be experiencing a sense of both befuddlement and faith. You are no longer stuck, but you cannot tell where you're going. You may feel that this can't keep up. You may feel that for a long time, when there was no sense of possibility, when you felt more victimized, when you didn't realize how many small things you could do to improve your own life. And listen to that. How many small things you can do to improve your own life. Small. They don't have to be these huge steps. I know we're like into this season of like quantum leaping, right? You don't have to do that. You don't have to take this huge step. Sometimes it's as simple as I'm going to start writing how I actually feel about things in a book. And that can be a catalyst in your life and completely shift you in a way that's more sustainable than doing something like selling all your things and moving to a different part of the world. Sometimes you need that type of big motion. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying that there's also power in the mundane. There's magic in the mundane. There are life-changing experiences to be had in doing the smaller things. And a really good example of that is Tabitha Brown. Think about how her life shifted. She had been wanting to get into the industry for like 20 something years. Her book, Feeding the Soul, is actually a really great book. But in her book, she talks about, she was like doing hosting gigs, a little side thing here. They had moved to LA. They did all these things, all these big jumps and actions. And nothing really triggered her success until she made a TikTok video about a vegan sandwich. And her entire life shifted. As a Uber driver, just making a little video because her daughter told her, like, girl, get on TikTok. It's so much fun. And that one video, now this lady has a TV show, TV shows for kids and adults. She has seasonings. She has restaurants. She has a wine collection. She's all these things. She's been able to expand into all these new versions or these unexplored versions of her identity from one simple act of simply listening to the nudge. She had a divine nudge to go vegan because she was really sick. And she went to Whole Foods, met an angel, legitimately met a real life angel who made her this sandwich. Like, this is gonna be such a good sandwich. You're gonna love it. And she loved that sandwich so much. It evoked such an emotion from her that she called her homegirl and said, "Girl, I'm making a TikTok. And this is so good." And it changed her life. It wasn't the move to California that changed her life, right? It wasn't quitting her job and becoming a full-time. No, those things did not. Did they add to it? Yeah, they added layers. Yeah, sure. But it was that one subtle action of making a video in her car on her break that changed her entire life. That's what I'm talking about here. That's what I want us to remember. It doesn't always have to be this big, huge, dramatic shift. You can still get what you need from the smaller steps in life. Okay? Hi, Jeanette. How are you? Let's see. Let's see. It's like finding new rooms in your house. Yes, exactly. Exactly. How many small things can you do to improve your life? Yes, magic and mundane. Yes, yes, yes. Tabitha Brown, vegan. Yes, yes. Like all these things are just incredible when you think about it. Like, and it didn't take long. She blew up in maybe 2019, right before the pandemic. And then a series of synchronicities happened that helped propel her, right? She was then being supported by the universe. Things that to other people may not have been as fruitful, right? Like a pandemic was not great for everybody. A lot of people suffered and lost. But for her, we were all home watching and it just built up. There was a series of synchronicities that happened after that initial nudge, hearing that nudge and acting on something so small as making a video. And it completely changed her life, her family's life, and like hundreds of thousands of other people who now read her books and her stories and watch her shows. She's now helping people generationally, from small children to people older than her. And they're all benefiting from her artistry. They're all benefiting from her genius. That's just something I want to keep in mind. I'm sure there are other people we can highlight, but I just feel like she's so relevant. And it was such a simple thing that happened. And I love that. I love those moments like that. Okay. It's normal to yearn for some rest when you are moving so rapidly. What you will learn to do is rest in motion, like lying down in a boat. Your morning pages are the boat. They will lead you forward and give you a place to recuperate from your forward motion. It is difficult for us to realize that this process of going inside and writing pages can open an inner door through which our creator helps and guides us. Our willingness swims, our willingness swings this inner door open. The morning pages symbolize our willingness to speak to and hear God. The morning pages symbolizes our willingness to speak to and hear God. They lead us into many other changes that also come from God's source, what we call on to, and lead us to God. This is the hand of God moving through your hand as you write. It is very powerful. One technique One technique that can be very reassuring at this point is to use your morning pages or a part of them for written affirmations of your progress. Put it in writing, we often say when making a deal. There's a special power in writing out the deal we are making with our creator. There's a special power in writing out the deal we are making with our creator. I receive your good willingly, and thy will be done are two short affirmations that, when written in the morning, remind us to be open to increased good in our day. I trust my perceptions is another powerful affirmation to use as we undergo shifts in identity. A stronger and clearer me is emerging. Choose affirmations according to your need. As you excavate your buried dreams, you need the reassurance that such explorations are permissible. I recover and enjoy my identity. This is amazing. There is a special power in writing out the deal we are making with our creator. Whoever your creator may be, again, I say God, source, universe, love, whoever you call on to in your time of need, just plug in the name. Please don't get sidetracked by that. Okay? The point is, right. And this is where I say that flexibility will shift. No, actually take it back. Write it, voice note it, make a video, whatever it is, commune with your source. Do it as often as possible. Daily is obviously ideal, but if you cannot do it daily, do it weekly. If you cannot do it weekly, do it monthly. If you cannot do it monthly, we really should talk about that. But if you can't, then do it quarterly. Do it yearly. There are so many times to reset. There's like this trend going around on TikTok where like the day you're born, the number, the date, you use that every month to reset. So for me, I'm born the 28th of October. So every 28th is an opportunity for me to reset again and to remind myself to start again. But there are so many new years in a year, right? We have the traditional year in January, the feminine divine new year, the lunar new year in February, the astrological new year, right? You have 4 seasons that bring on a sense of newness, right? We have your birthday that brings on a sense of, there's so much opportunity. Pick any one of them damn dates and commune with source. Whether you're using your voice, do speaking it via video, audio, or you're writing it. And if you're writing it and you're writing out these things, I want you to use number 2 pencil. I will connect a TikTok video that goes in depth as to why that's important. The alchemy behind the number 2 pencil, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it in. I'm writing it down right now because it's actually really good TikTok. But you're going to do that and write it out and commune with source and just see what happens. See what happens when you show up and say what you want. Talk to God, source, whoever you call on to. Talk to them. Talk to your ancestors. Talk to your angels. Talk to these entities. Talk to them. To the ones that are in divine favor of you, of course. Please, let's not get off course here. Please speak to them. Commune with them. See what they have to say. There's so much there in such a simple act. I want us to remember that, okay? Talk to your divine source. Get intimate with them. Think about it like this. The more you commune with God, the easier it is to hear and know God. And then you'll be able to take those divine steps needed to move throughout your life and have the life of your desires. Because a desire just means of God. That's all it means. It's not a wicked, weird thing. I don't know why people have made it that way. It just means of God. These are things that I want of God. These are things that I want of source. So when you're talking to God, when you're communing with your ancestors, with source, with whoever it is you call on to in your times of need, call on them and talk to them when you're not in need. Because it actually makes it a lot easier for you. So when you are in situations that feel a bit more stretching, you can know that source is talking to you and what steps to take next, instead of trying to figure out what to do and where to go and how this is going to work. This is how we make our lives simpler, how we make them easier, and how we make them more enjoyable. And ultimately, that's what we all want, is to enjoy our lives. Yeah? Let me know how that feels for y'all. Here we go. Yes, our morning pages signify our willingness to speak to and hear God. Yes, yes. Yep. I trip over the name sometimes. Yeah, all the time. It's like, what the hell going on? Hi, Jeanette. New here. We are reading. Oh, thank you, Jack. Yes, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Yes. Sierra. Yes, yes, yes. Yay. Okay, yeah. I'm so happy you have the book. Ah, it's a good book. It's a good book. And we break it down in a way that is like not mainstream, but it's really a good time. Okay. All right. So I wanted to get into reading deprivation. What's going on with my voice today? I've been having like not tongue tied, but like speaking differently. It almost feels like a different language. This is not the first time it's happened. It's a weird feeling. Yeah, it's a weird feeling. I've been having a lot of dreams too. It's been a lot. It's been a lot energetically, y'all. We'll have like a cute little moment and catch up if we have time at the end. But it's been a lot, like a lot of dreams, a lot of dreams and confirmations where I'm like, what the, what is going on? But reading deprivation, that's what I've been trying to say. Also adding in a social media detox, because when she wrote this book, social media was not a thing. And I do think that these two things go hand in hand, okay? So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going into our EFT session. We're doing great. I love this for us. All right. If you feel stuck in your life or in your art, a few jump starts are more effective than a week of reading deprivation or a social media detox. I think both things should happen, and I'm going to make my case on that in a little bit. No reading. That's right, no reading. For most artists, words are like tiny tranquilizers. We have a daily quota of media chat that we swallow up. Like greasy food, it clogs our system. Too much of it, and we feel fried. How the wordplay sometimes is so funny. It is a paradox that by emptying our lives of distractions, we actually are filling the well. Without distractions, we are once again thrust into the sensory world. With no newspaper to shield us, a train becomes a viewing gallery. With no novels to sink into and no television to numb us out, an evening becomes a vast savannah in which furniture and other assumptions get rearranged. Reading deprivation casts us into our inner silence, a space some of us begin to immediately fill with new words. Long, gossipy conversations, television binging, the radio as a constant, chatty companion. We often cannot hear our own inner voice, the voice of our artist inspiration, above the static. In practicing reading deprivation, we need to cast a watchful eye on the others, on these other pollutants. My nephew's outside, y'all. If you hear someone screaming, it's him. They poison the well. If we monitor the inflow and keep it to a minimum, we will be rewarded for our reading deprivation with embarrassing speed. Our reward will be a new outflow. Our own art, our own thoughts and feelings will begin to nudge aside the sludge of blockage, to loosen it and move it upward and outward until once again our well is running free. Reading deprivation is a very powerful tool and a very frightening one. Even thinking about it can bring up enormous rage. For most blocked creatives, reading is an addiction. Yes. We gobble the words of others rather than digest our own thoughts and feelings, rather than cook up something of our own. Yeah. She talked about how her students don't like this, and then at the end, they absolutely love it. Okay. She gives an idea of things to do instead of reading: listening to music, making curtains, washing your pets, sorting out your clothes, paying bills. I don't know if that was as fun, but it's an option. Writing to old friends, repotting some plants, mending, fixing a bike, watercolor, meditating, working out, having friends over for dinner, etc. These are ways that we can do that. Now, what I wanted to add in is the understanding of social media. Social media does this to us too. So just like we can take in too much from reading, we definitely do that with social media. So I would encourage you to do both this week. Not read anything extra and to do a social media detox. If you can really hop off social media for the rest of the week, that'd be great. But ideally, is it possible? Because no, I'm going to put notes on here on Tuesday. So it's like, do what you can. But even if it's just, instead of it being 4 or 5 hours a day, you're on social media, maybe it's 30 minutes. Maybe there's one day out of the week that you're just not going to be on social media. And trusting in that and seeing what happens. When I did this particular week in the summer, it changed my relationship to reading because I was reading almost like 10, 15 books a month at that point. Reading, whether it was like hard copy, immersive reading, audio, like consuming a lot. My Gemini rising, I can consume a lot of information. It's exciting for me to do, right? Once I did this, the amount of clarity I received actually led me to knowing that I was going to be doing something like this in the future. I knew that from that week. It's in my notes, right? But I also was hearing myself in a different way. I was experiencing art in a different way. I was able to hear my own thoughts on what I felt. And it was so comforting. So I encourage you to really lean in and take a step back from reading Substacks, right? From just take a day, lower the time frame, get to the point where you can really go a week without social media and see what happens. I'm like really intrigued to know what experiences you'll have. And I feel like it is a lot harder than you think because it can happen so easily. Where muscle memory, all of a sudden you're on TikTok. You're like, how the hell did I get on TikTok? Like, I was just doing this. But be mindful this week. Be mindful of how you're interacting with social media. How often are you on your platforms? How often are you reading things? Even if you're scrolling and reading, could you not listen to the voice? We're constantly consuming information, and that is what causes us to feel so out of sorts because we are constantly overwhelmed. Think about the amount of information that you get every day from your different platforms. So that's like what? Let's say TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, right? Um, News outlets if you're watching news. Talking to your friends, getting information from them, right? Because you're just talking in conversation. For the books that you're reading, it's so much. On top of the fact that your brain is taking in the colors, the sights, the sounds, the scents that are happening all around you. You're getting all of this all at once. How how are you expecting to hear yourself? And if this is all about recovering a sense of integrity, and we talked about how having a sense of self to express will eradicate imposter syndrome. How do you get to that sense of self? You would have to have some type of deprivation of outside energy and experiences. And as you are depriving yourself of that, you are indulging within and seeing what your inner world has for you, what your creativity wants to express. And we need moments like that. Ideally, romantically, it'd be great to just be so tuned into our inner world that we're always moving from this space all the time. And maybe people do that. There might be people on this earth that can do that. I'm not one of those people. I need those reminders to focus back in, to redirect. For me, it usually comes with irritability of like, oh, I'm getting irritated by everything outside of me. It's because I'm not focused on me inwardly. Let me refocus. And I literally imagine myself bringing the energy back towards me and that energetic torus of our aura. Instead of it flowing outwards, depleting me, I have it flowing inwards, replenishing me. And as soon as I do that, for me, because I've been practicing this for a long time, within the first few minutes, I get a download. Within the first day or so, I'm like shoulders relaxed. I'm excited. I'm way more myself, more bubbly, more happy because I am cutting out all the excess because it doesn't need to be there all the time. Does that make sense? I know it can feel like a lot, but I would love for us to try. I know after my birthday, I plan on deleting my apps until Sunday, until our next session, because I tend to get overwhelmed after my birthday. Like a lot of stuff comes in. I'm like, okay, I need a moment. But yeah, that's what I plan on doing for myself. I would love for you to join me. So I'm going to make sure that these notes get to you before before Tuesday, so you guys have time to like process the information, and like the after party notes, things like that. But I think this is so important for us to do. It's a practice that I was really grateful to be introduced to because when I first heard it, I was like, girl, I'm not stopping reading for nobody. You got me all the way messed up if you thought I was gonna stop reading my romantic books for you. What? No. But once I got past the ego, I had to run my ego like, girl, you don't run the show. Just try it's 7 days. I was blown away. I had less things I was consuming. Like, every month I do a Lotus list where I do a roundup of, like, my favorite eats, things that I make, all that stuff. It's all there. And usually there's a part of it where I do my reading section and I share my books and my recommendations, reviews, stuff like that. I think I, like, read, like, 2 books that month after week 4 because I was so engulfed in myself. But in me doing that and not reading so much, I had written the outline for my debut novel, right? It just came pouring out of me. And I was like, oh, wow, this is what happens when I give myself time to think for me and not take in so many other uh, things and people and experiences and energies. Like big things come from this deprivation. So I really do want you to experience for yourself. Okay. That's the main activity. There's another one that I'll put in the notes building buried dreams. It's an exercise. I'll put it there so you guys can do it if you want to. And I'll add the other tasks. But I thought that was probably like one of my favorite things that I've done with the artist way was not reading. It was amazing. Okay. Okay, let me go back here. Yes, yes, yes. Connecting with source more regularly has been helping me take my ego out of a lot of situations where it shouldn't be, especially in my art. I love that. Cause like, I feel like the ego belongs there once it's done. Once the art is completed to your satisfaction, because I think art is never really complete. It's like an ongoing thing. You can always go back and update something, right? But once it's done, where you're like, you know what, I can put this out into the world, that's where I feel like the ego comes in. Because when people respond to your art, you're gonna need your ego to either remind you that you that person and this is still good, even if people don't understand it or if it's ahead of their time, it's still beautiful for you to have. And I'm so proud of you doing your ego's there. But I agree, in the beginning process, having an ego is like, it's distracting. It's just like, please, I'm just trying to write something right now. And now I'm thinking about how it can be this and that. And it's so much more. So I love that you're like, there's a time and a place for you, and it's not right now. Like, having God there as opposed to ego or having source there as opposed to ego is really beautiful. There's also an acronym for ego, edging God out, and I use that when I talk about, the ego and the trifecta of what we experience. Like, that is like that unhealthy side of the ego, where we completely forget about guidance and source and divinity, and we're just out here roughing it. That is the unhealthy ego, where we're edging God out, right? And then there's that ego where we're embodying, right? Where we're allowing ourselves to be true to who we are and standing in that confidence and trusting that we can um, live in that truth. I love that. That was amazing. Thank you, Sierra. Haven't read it yet. This must be the time. Yes, it's the perfect time. We break it down where that's not mainstream, but we have a good time. Yeah, like it's not mainstream, but I do think that it's helpful. I feel like it's like a bunch of misfits getting together every Sunday and like we're we're like taking a book apart. That's how I would describe this experience. Cause this is very much not, maybe this is what Julie had in mind, maybe, but it's very different. Yes, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Create more than you consume. Yes, 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 yes. Create more. Create more than you consume. 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 Like there is just something so powerful that honestly, I'm going to end up writing down as a mantra for myself because yes, it's so easy to consume, especially when living in a capitalistic world. It's so easy to overconsume, to become greedy, right? To become gluttonous with information. And we don't need to do that. It's not a necessity. Less is always more, especially in this case. I'd much rather focus in on what I want to create and create a space where I can hear my ideas and my thoughts. I can receive the downloads and bring them to life as opposed to being so overcrowded in my energy and in my mind and in my body with a whole bunch of information that may honestly be helpful. It may actually be really good information, but it's not helping me to express my art right now. So I don't wanna keep making it relevant. I'd much rather get rid of it. And if I really need it again, I'm sure the information will find me again. And I had to get like that when I have this ability to hyperfixate, and when I am excited about something, I go all in, learn everything I possibly can about it. And once it's not relevant to me or useful to me in my art, it's like I never learned it. I'm just like, it goes somewhere else. Sometimes I get re-triggered and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm leaning back into this again. It's always funny to me because I think sometimes I can come off a bit like airheaded because I'm just like, oh, what is that? But I am very intentional about what I put my energy and attention towards. So it's like, if this is not pertaining to the mission, to the purpose, to the space and time where I'm at right now, I don't care. I don't want to know this. I'm not going to remember. And we're all going to be okay. We're all going to be okay. We're all going to be I trust that the things I need to remember, I will remember. Things that are important to me and my loved ones, like birthdays or so, I'm going to remember those. But like this, I don't need to know this. I don't need to remember this. This was a lot. And I think you can tell this with like social media when you go through certain videos. Think about how many videos you can recall, like in depth. Do you remember what the person was wearing? If they had on glasses or not? Like these are things that you realize like, oh, I'm just taking in information instead of giving myself time to breathe and be. So I hope you guys do that task because I think it's a really good one. And then we're gonna get into the EFT section. Before we do that, I want y'all to drink some water. I'm gonna drink some water too because we took in a lot of information just now. And let me know if there's anything that you want clarity on for chapter 4 or anything that you want to share about week 3, recovering a sense of power, before we jump into the EFT. All right, I'm pulling up the EFT script. Yeah, I was in my book. I think that's a sign of a good book, right? Like, I read it, I use it. All right, okay. Let's see. If you're taking in that much, how are you going to hear yourself? Yes. That silence allows us to hear downloads. Yes. Yeah, yeah, no. I really was. That's why I was really into my romantic bag, y'all. I was like, you want me to stop? And I feel like some books had just been released that I was really into too. And I'm like, girl, the books just dropped. Like, why would you? But I'm so happy that I did it because having the outline for my book is probably one of my like proudest moments of the summer, of realizing that I was finally in the space to write a book. Because people have been asking me to write a book. I was like in author clubs, like, oh my God, like what, 2014, 2015, like putting books together, and I could never complete it. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm just not meant to be an author. Like, just because I can write, I don't need to be an author. Like, it's, sometimes it's like, are you overachieving? You just want to have the title, and asking yourself that question. And I felt for a long time I just wanted the title. So once I realized that that's where it was coming from in that time frame, I just was like, oh, if it's just about the title, girl, it's not that deep. There's other ways for you to contribute. Having that week of deprivation and really sitting with myself and hearing the characters and the stories, like, almost like haunt me, like, get out of my head, please, and putting it to paper and getting so excited about what this could look and feel like and how it merges my love of, fantasy and real, like, putting all these things together. I wouldn't have been able to do that had I been consuming other people's art. And I think there's a time and a place to consume other people's art because you need inspiration and something that comes directly from source. And sometimes God presents others to you to be inspired by. The discernment is in knowing which one in which time frame, right? But there are times when you don't need to be consuming other people's art. Like when I'm in a space where I'm ready to create, I intentionally block out art that feels similar to me, which means like a lot of like my girlfriend's content are things that I may not consume in that moment. Am I gonna engage to always promote them and make sure that they're doing well? Of course, because as a team player, but like listening in, like podcasts, things like that, I always download, right? I always like and subscribe, whatever I have to do, but I will put that in a different folder for when I'm ready to consume the content. Because I also understand that we are very similar in our frequencies, and I want to make sure I get my message out first the way that it is showing up in me. And then usually what ends up happening is that once I've done that and I go back and listen to my girlfriend's content, it just kind of amplifies what I was already feeling and experiencing. And I'm very proud of myself for having the discipline to put my creativity out into the world first. And then it feels like a reward to have or to know that I was in alignment with my girlfriends, or people that I admire that are in the same field as me. That's how I do it. I don't know if it's gonna work for other people. I'm just expressing that to you so you have an understanding of it. Ahead of your time, everybody here will truly encounter this as challenging. Yes, but service to Gaia in the future. Yeah, there are gonna be times I can't tell. I think the most thing that will get me up in a little bit of an uproar is like how ahead of time I was for matcha. Like if you really look at matcha and me, we've been locked in for over a decade. I was obsessed with matcha before it blew up. Like obsessed. Every day I would put out podcast episodes explaining like the breakdown of matcha, like how it helps the brain, how it helps you as a creative, the different types of chemical parts to it. And, I interviewed excuse me, I did interview for traditional Chinese medicine, but that wasn't for that. That was different hyperfixation. I interviewed a 7th generation Japanese tea master. I was obsessed with him. Like I felt like I was meeting Beyonce. It was insane. Like these are all things that happened like 2010, 2012. Right, I graduated then. Somewhere around, like, in my early 20s, right? And then I was like, "Okay, I put all this information out, matcha, people loving it, people getting into it, we're giving out recipes, things like that, people are loving it, whatever, leave it alone." And then, like, overnight, it just kinda blew up, and it was just such a weird thing of, like, wow, being so ahead of your time can feel very frustrating because you feel like, "Well, shouldn't I have been able to catch that wave?" But I really believe that that was just a way for me to practice putting myself out there and building up discipline, right? And being diligent and sharing something that I'm passionate about, even when no one else understands what I'm talking about or when they don't agree. I can tell you many people were like, girl, I tried matcha because of you and I hated it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me take you on a matcha date because it could just be the type of matcha that you had. And it allowed me to adapt and to be able to take feedback on something that I was passionate about, but it was not my, like, my thing I'm here for, you know? Like, I wasn't placed here to, like, do the matcha thing. I did it because I was excited about it. It was something really cool that really helped me and changed my life and has made my life better. That's why I share things because it's an intimate experience, but that's not what I'm really, really here for. So I'm so happy to get those lessons from that because there's a level of detachment there that allowed me to move forward with a healthy ego and receive feedback and gain skill sets that I might have felt overwhelmed in doing for my true gift, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. Like the thing I'm really here for. So now, as I'm exploring that and putting that out into the world, I don't feel that pressure to be disciplined or diligent. I've already built up the skill set with something else. And I think that that's why we are ahead of time or ahead of, the curve. It's for that space. It's that space of detachment that helps us to fortify it. So when we move forward in life and we are in our season where we are expressing the divine gift that we're here to express, we're not so caught up in the pressure and the feedback. We don't really care if society fully understands it or not because we know that we're here for a reason and we have the skills to sustain that reason and that the people that need it are going to see us as long as we continue showing up to the best of our ability. And that becomes your main focus. I can be extremely upset over the fact that I missed that matcha wave and all the money that would have come with doing that, right? But it's just like, I mean, it's there. Y'all can see it. Like it's there. The episodes are out into the it's there. The information is good. All of it is there. It exists. It's out into the world. And that is more important than the fact that I was like 5 or 6 years ahead of the curve. Like that's at least that's how I've been able to process it. Because being upset about it is not gonna do anything for me, you know? Like I can't Like, I'm not interested enough to go back over it and make it relevant in my life again. I've completed that phase. It would no longer feel authentic to me to do. Do I still drink matcha every single day? Yes. Do I still have my recipes and things like that? I still yes. But it's just for me. I gave it to those that needed it in the time and like it's there, you know? Yes, 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 yes. Hi, Jetna. Say I stopped reading and take breaks all the time, but listening to you talk about it, I realized that I listen to music more than usual to fill the space so I'm not sitting in silence. Yeah, that could be what it is. That could be what it is. It could be music. Yeah. I for that week, I didn't do social media. I didn't do music, which was hard. Music is probably the hardest one out of the 3 because I love music. And then I didn't do the reading, but I also came out with something incredible. So I feel like if we're doing it in time frames that make sense to us, we give ourselves a container and allow ourselves to get in like, be in that container, whether it's a day, whether it's 72 hours, whether it's a week, it'll make it easier for us to be able to do that because we know that we'll eventually have it again. We're not going cold turkey forever because that can be daunting, even if it is necessary. We're still human? But knowing that, okay, on Friday, I'm back at it again, that's something to look forward to. And that also brings a sense of pleasure to our lives and helps us in sustaining our discipline of like, I know I'm going to have this reward later on. And you might find that when you get to that end of that time frame you've given yourself, that you actually don't really have a desire to have that because you like what you've created in this time frame. And I think that that's good too. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Such a good point. I feel like I'll be digesting for a while. I know, I know. Still loving God is over your shoulder, Lord, watching over us. Yes. I'll line your book. Congratulations. Yeah, I'm very, yes, obsessed with matcha. Remember that OG matcha grandma? Yes, I do. I watch those videos all the time. I'm just like, I really was sitting across from greatness. I loved it. It was so much fun. Um, Team like it came from the bottom of the yeah, yeah, and that has a lot to do with the type of matcha it is, where it comes from, where it's sourced from. There's, like, a lot to matcha that the thing I will say that irritates me about the matcha movement right now is that it's very, capitalistic. Like, the things that we're doing with matcha is, like it's a lot. It's a lot, and when you're really learning about the culture and which it comes from and, like, the founders, right? The people that are upholding the tradition, you realize, like, we've westernized it. It gets really gross. It gets really gross. I just will say, like, so I had to, like, also check myself too, my own privilege of, like, am I actually helping? And I've had these conversations. I had the conversation with the tea master of, like, what do I do to make sure that I'm still, like, respecting the culture, you know, and sharing the stories that come with it. Like, my goal is not to appropriate because I know what it feels like to be appropriated. Like, I intimately know that feeling, so I never wanna be that type of person, and I feel like the way we have commodified matcha is really gross, if I'm being honest with you. I think that's also why I'm not as upfront anymore because I'm just like, it feels like a money grab, and, like, we're not really respecting the beauty of it in the way it's sourced, all these things. We're just trying to make the thing that's gonna go viral so that we have enough money to do things, and I don't know, that just doesn't feel good. Yes, we don't care if society doesn't fully understand. Those who need it will. Yes, those who need it will. They definitely will. Alright, are y'all ready for EFT? I'm so excited. If you haven't done EFT before, it's very simple. It's called Emotional Freedom Techniques, and it is the beautiful art of tapping on placements on your body that communicate to your body that you're willing to let go of something or call something in. And this helps us to regulate our emotions, helps us to rewire our brain so that we can begin living the lives that we truly feel we deserve to live without having to feel blocked by trauma. So sometimes we're transmuting trauma, sometimes we're learning to navigate it and live with it and just accept that this has happened, but I can move forward from it. And this is a great way to do that. It connects the mind to the body so that you have this free flowing channel so your emotions and your energy can be processed the way they're supposed to be processed. Okay. There are going to be 10 tapping points with this session, and it's the side of hand between the pinky knuckle bone and the wrist bone where you could lightly tap here, the top of head where your crown chakra would be. Then we have the start of the brow, either side doesn't matter. The side of the eye, you're going to touch that ocular bone and tap on the bone. You'll trace the bone down to underneath the eye and tap there. Then you have underneath the nose above the lip, the crease of the chin, collarbone, you would feel for the fleshy part under the collarbone, near like where the socket is for your shoulder. You would tap there. Then you would bring it into the center, into the middle. You'll feel a bone here. Like it kind of protrudes out. You would tap there. Then underneath the arm. So at the end of your armpit, or if you wear a bra, you would be tapping in that space there. Those are the tapping points. You don't need to remember them because you're going to be watching me or listening to me, and I will be identifying when we're moving to the next tapping point. Now, some ways you can tap in if tapping is overstimulating to you, if you find yourself to be a very highly sensitive person, highly sensitive to energy or touch, there are some alternatives that you can do that will be really helpful. So traditionally, we're just tapping with one, two, all the fingers, doesn't matter. You also can pulse, keeping your hand to the body, pulsing like a heartbeat. You can rub, which feels really nice, very soothing. You can hover, not touching the body at all, and still tapping into the energetic pathways that run all around our bodies. Or for those that have limited mobility, you can envision yourself tapping there. It takes a little bit more concentration, but it is definitely possible to do. Okay. We're going to do one round where it's negative. These are things that we're going to say that may feel a little uncomfortable. We may have said to ourselves when we were like in our best state, or someone may have said to us, right, as some type of form of criticism or negative feedback. We're saying this to alert the body that these things we're talking about, we no longer want to be in our experience. We actually want to bring it to the forefront and transmute it so that we can fill in the space with something that is more suitable to our desires. Then we would take a break, we'll drink some water because water is helpful in regulating our emotions, right? No matter what type of somatic therapy you do, you need to drink water. And then our second round will be the positive round, where we say things that are more uplifting and kind and loving, and, they're affirmations, and they fortify and fill in that space that we just created so that we can move forward the way we want to move forward. Okay? All right, let's start. First round is going to be on releasing. I'm going to drink some water again. And then we're going to begin. Mm. Side of hand, you lightly tap, pulse, rub, hover, or envision. And I want you to repeat after me. Your voice is medicine. So I always want you to say the words and repeat them. You're never speaking negatively over your life when you're doing this. You're simply just calling out things that might be there subconsciously. Deep inhale, breathing into the lower belly, expanding into the top of the belly, diaphragm area. Open mouth, exhale, release, dropping the shoulders, relaxing, centering ourselves as we tap. And a deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, release, letting go. And repeat after me. Even if I haven't been fully honest with myself, I'm willing to show up and be honest now. One more time. Even if I haven't been fully honest with myself, I'm willing to show up and be honest now. Okay? Then we're going to go to the top of the head. I can feel where I've been avoiding my truth. Brow, distracting myself instead of listening. Side of eye, consuming instead of creating. Under the eye, filling space instead of sitting with myself. Under the nose, I've just been holding on to things that are outdated, that aren't useful, that weigh me down. Chin. Relationships, routines, environments, even stories about who I think I am. Collarbone. I can feel what doesn't fit anymore. Heart. And I don't have to judge myself for that. Under the arm. I just have to be honest about where I am and who I am right now. Take a nice deep inhale, drop your hand into your lap. Breathe in, letting that air refresh you, soften the shoulders, and as you exhale, release. Just notice how you feel after tapping on those things. Trust the feelings, the sensations that are coming up. Trust if there are none that are coming up. Just let yourself be for this moment. Another deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, letting go. Drinking some water, and then we're going to do our second round. Okay? All right. Ready? This is the positive round. This is where we do integration. Side of hand, let me tap here. Tap, pulse, rub, hover, envision, whatever feels best. And repeat after me. I can be honest. I can be honest with myself, and I can be gentle about it. I don't have to force anything. Top of the head. My clarity is returning. Brow. I no longer need to overconsume to feel prepared. I am prepared as I am in this very moment. Side eye. I don't need to cling to what I've outgrown. I can lovingly let go of people, things, and spaces that no longer serve me and my highest good. Under the eye. I'm allowed to let go and let go of what no longer feels true. Under the nose. I'm allowed to choose myself and my art in real time. Chin. I trust my inner voice to guide me. Collarbone. Integrity feels like a homecoming. Heart. Where I'm safe to move toward what feels real, what feels fun, what feels beautiful. Under the arm. And I'm doing this at my own pace. No one is rushing me. No one can force me. I get to be honest, fearlessly, about who I am, what I want, what I'm willing to receive, and how I share my art with the world. Okay? Deep inhale. Put your hands over your heart space if that feels good for you. Just resonate with those words. You get to decide. You get to choose. You get to move with integrity. You get to be honest with yourself. You get to express your art. And you get to align with people and places and beliefs that will support you on this journey, that will love you through the ebbs and the flows. This is your right. It is accessible to you if you so choose. Deep inhale, breathing in. Take a second breath into the heart space. Open mouth, exhale, release the shoulders, soften the face. And you can then open your eyes, come back to the space, and drink some water. And let me know how you're feeling after the EFT round, okay? And as you guys are doing that, I'm gonna let you know week 5 is all about recovering a sense of possibility. I have mentioned that when we get deeper into the weeks when it comes to the artist way, it's gonna feel really uh easy for you to like give up on the morning pages, give up on the artist dates. I think that's why she was so centered around the artist dates and the morning pages in this chapter because it gets a bit more grittier. 5 to about like 8 can feel really rough. We're going to be going through it together, of course. You'll have the notes that'll come with the replay. And you'll also have the after party notes, my AP notes that go a bit more in depth where I share things and personal insights that weren't shared on the live. So you'll have access to that and you can listen to that whenever you want to. I always make sure to have like the audio feature so you can just turn it on and then go on about your day and just listen to it in the background. It's just to give you a bit more insight since we can't cover everything in our time together. But even if you just watch the live and move forward throughout your day and throughout your week, understanding that with artistry, you need to feel safe, right? You need to have a sense of self. Who are you? You need to know and witness and be able to wield your power. And you have to do so with integrity. Do you see how she's layering it? There's a story to be told here. She's really giving us or has given us a framework that allows us to be artists in ways that are sustainable and that will be helpful to the communities that we are involved in as well. And that's very important to remember. So as you move through this week, ask yourself, am I moving with integrity? And that's simply, am I moving honestly? Do I honestly want to be around this person right now? Do I honestly want to be doing this thing? And it's okay if it's like, well, I don't want to do this thing, but this is my job and I have to do it. But the point is to be honest with yourself, to take that step. Because the next step might be what? I don't love this job. I have to look at something new, or I have to begin doing something new that's going to help me feel what I'm missing here. Give yourself that time to explore. Use the morning pages to detox. Use the artist dates to sweeten up your life. Use the Substacks that I put out to leave information, leave insights, things that come up for you. It's so important that we continue to engage because it does get a little rougher. I struggled with the next few chapters personally. It was really hard to get through. I'm looking forward to experiencing this with you all because I feel like there is a sense of ease when you're in community and you're not doing it by yourself. Um, but I definitely want to be transparent about the fact that like it does get a little, is a little rough. Okay. But the difference is we will also have EFT to help us. So at the end of each session, we do this EFT. The reason why I have it placed there at the end is so it helps us to embody and integrate before we move forward. So if we did feel overwhelmed with information, the body's able to connect to the mind and be able to process. That's what the drinking the water does help. Like helps you to do that. All that is happening then. So next week is recovering into the possibility. I hope that you guys are with me for this. I will then be 35 years old by that time. I'm very excited. I am going to drop my birthday list for anyone that wants to send love donations for my birthday or wants to get a gift for me. These are things that have been happening. It's actually really sweet and very surreal, but I definitely appreciate. I will be placing it on my Substack at some point in time. But the best thing you can do is like become a paid subscriber if you aren't already, or to share this as a gift, the subscription with someone else that you feel like could really benefit from talking about art in the way that we do. And yeah, I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here with me and spending your Sunday with me. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Yes, yes, you're so welcome. Hi, Simon. Yes, I was yawning. Yes, yawning's so good. Like high school algebra is so good. I love that. Thank you, needed this. I'm so happy. Yes, thank you. Have a great birthday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I definitely will. And yeah, if you need anything from me when it pertains to this, please feel free to respond to any one of the posts on Substack. The notes should be out by my birthday on the 28th. I'm hoping to get it to you like tomorrow night because I would prefer to not do any work on my birthday. That's the plan. But we'll see what God has in store. Because sometimes that's what I be thinking I'm gonna do, and it's like, girl, no, that's not what we had planned for you. But that's cute that you thought that. So we'll see. Okay. But thank you so much. And I love you. Have a good rest of your day and a good rest of your week. You deserve to have that. All right. I love you.